Hi, I'm Sarah, and today I'm going to talk about the 5 skateboarding tricks that I think every beginner skateboarder should definitely learn. First of all, why these 5 tricks? I chose these 5 tricks because I believe that they directly influence and therefore will help you improve your board control very quickly. While you're working on pushing and riding and getting comfortable with your board, these tricks can help you up your skate game so that when you later try to learn other tricks or harder tricks like shove-its, pop shove-its, and ollies, you'll be able to learn those much faster. The first trick is known as a feet stomp. Honestly, I can't really find a consensus on the internet as to what this trick is called, but there's a reason that this trick is in every single top 5 tricks you need to learn as a beginner skateboarder. And that's because being able to jump on your skateboard is imperative for skateboarding. The more familiar you are with your skateboard and the more comfortable you feel jumping onto the skateboard, the faster you're going to be able to progress in general. If you want to learn how to feet stomp, the first thing you need to know is where to land. This square created by your bolts is the most stable place on your entire skateboard when landing on both feet. So you want to aim here with the balls of your feet. Now for the trick, it's easiest to learn this trick by just jumping on the ground and then onto the bolts a few times. Push through the balls of your feet and jump straight up. Only after you're comfortable jumping onto the bolts should you start trying to actually flip the board. Now, the closer the edge of the board is to your toes, the farther forward you'll have to jump. And the closer the board's edge is to your ankles, the more you'll have to focus on jumping up instead of in front of you. I find it easiest to do this trick when the edge of the board is in the middle or closer to my ankles. Now jump through the balls of your feet. Keep light on those toes when you land, keep the knees flexible, and keep practice jumping. You'll have this trick in no time. The next trick is a tic-tac. Now I love tic-tacs. I do them in every single skate session. Still, I practiced them a ton when I just started out, and they really paid off. Learning how to tic-tac helped me get more comfortable with my board very quickly. I sometimes do tic-tacs out of tricks that I almost land, and they've saved me from falling off my skateboard a ton of times. They are a great way to pick up speed from a standing still position, and they're really important and helpful when I later tried to learn other pivots and reverts. And basically any trick that involved me leading a rotation with my shoulders. I like to do tic-tacs mostly from my shoulders. Now it looks silly, but tic-tacs kind of look like a strange wave dance move when done off of the skateboard. To really nail a nice tic-tac, first just try spinning like this. Let your arms relax and spin them from side to side. Lead with your shoulders and naturally let your hips follow. Now slightly lift your front foot off the ground, and the momentum should rotate your entire stance so that your foot will follow. This is basically the movement of a tic-tac. Now if you look at this shadow, you can see just how much my arms are moving. If I try to keep my shoulders straight and just use my legs, it limits my range of motion. But when I open my shoulders up and lean into the movement, my tic-tacs become much larger and much smoother. As for my back foot, I like to keep my toe near this pocket and my heel near the other pocket. That's because I found that I'm not simply pushing the tail down with my back foot. I'm actually alternating where I put pressure on the tail between my toes and my heel. It's very subtle, but I hope you can see in this slow motion clip that I'm putting pressure both towards my toes and my heel as I follow that slight and subtle back and forth motion that's created by my shoulders. Also, I'm not pushing very hard on the board. You can see that my front wheels only come off the ground slightly. Just practice tapping back and forth slowly, and then once you can start making that nice little carve with that toe to heel motion, you'll be able to pick up momentum and move forward. For me, it's almost like the motion of a snake. It's kind of a wiggle or a wave. This fluid motion helps me get what I think are really nice, smooth tic-tacs. The next trick is a caveman. Now, learning how to caveman surprisingly opens up a lot of possibilities for a beginner skateboard. You can use them as the foundation to learn bonelesses, foot plants, foot plant finger flips, and they will help you learn how to catch your skateboard before it lands back on the ground. For the caveman, just like the feet stomp, you should be comfortable just jumping onto the bolts of your board. And then with a nice little swing, you can practice catching the bolts of your skateboard with your back foot. Really try to aim for those bolts. If you keep missing and catching the bolt on the tail or in the middle, then you're not ready yet. Once you can do that, just try to step onto the board with the other foot for a few tries. Just stepping, no jumping. When you feel confident, try to get the other foot on the board before it touches the ground. It doesn't have to be a complete jump, just once you know the board is under your back foot, bring the front foot up to jump onto. That's when you can start with little throws, jumping off the ground with both feet, and trying to get higher and higher. And while I practice this trick by leading with my back foot, for this version of the caveman, I actually lead with my front foot. Leading with the back leg will just help you overcome the fear that comes with jumping on your board. Leading with the front foot will help you get the caveman. Because as you can see here, you actually catch with the front foot. The last tip is where to swing. You actually don't swing the board in front of you when you jump. As you can see here, the board comes right to my side. So as I jump up, the board is delivered right under my feet. I catch it with my front foot and I bring that back foot down too. The fourth trick is getting into primo, or heel side rail as it's called in freestyle skateboarding. Now this trick is great for two main reasons. One, it gives you another trick to practice so that you're not doing the same trick every single time, which might make you feel frustrated or bored as a beginner. And two, it'll help you improve your balance. It's hard enough to balance on the skateboard as a beginner, but to be able to balance in rail is even harder. And that will just help you gain familiarity with how you should be balancing on your skateboard and what that really feels like. Getting into primo starts by standing on your tail. I like to tap my foot out to the side and then bring it right up to the wheels. I find that having the top of my foot near the bottom top bolts works really well for my foot size. And now you want to gently push the board over to its side. This can take some practice getting used to how hard and how fast you can go. Once the board's flipped over, find your center of balance between the edge of the board and the wheel and step up onto the other wheel. You can see here how my foot is centered over the middle of the wheel and my weight is mostly on the ball of my foot and distributed to the edge of the board. You want to experiment and find where your balance is the most solid, because everyone's feet and center of gravity is a little bit different. To get out of this, all you need to do is the tiniest hop and nudge. Sometimes I nudge the board with my heel, and sometimes I nudge the wheels with my toes. Do what feels most comfortable for you. As always, keep your knees nice and loose, find your balance, and take your time. The last trick is a monster walk, and actually, it's a slow monster walk. Now, if you want to see really amazing monster walks, I suggest that you check out Mike Osterman, who is an amazing freestyle skateboarder, and I'll link him and his tutorials in the link below because his monster walks are on point. Now, this is a slowed down version. Now, a monster walk is basically a 180 pivot going back and forth over and over and over again. They will help you develop a ton of board control. And if you learn these after tic-tacs, then going forward, when you try to learn any kind of pivot, rotation, revert, kick turn, you are going to be able to learn them much faster. Hello. When I set up for a monster walk, I like to have the insides of my feet just cover or almost cover parts of the bolts. And similar to the tic-tacs, I like to use this upper pocket as my pressure point. Similar to a tic-tac, I like to use my upper body and hips for momentum to go forward. I like to turn my shoulders, press slightly into the pocket, and let the board turn under me. Just like with tic-tacs, the board does not have to leave the ground much, and I try not to lean too much to any side, especially forwards or backwards, which can make you fall. There is a little lean to get into the rhythm, but it's very slight. As with all tricks, work your way up. Start with little steps forward and slowly work up to the full 180 rotations. You'll be killing pivots after mastering this trick, and like I said, check out Mike Osterman for really amazing and beautiful monster walks at full speed. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more skateboarding tutorials and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more skateboarding tutorials and content, or just want to join me on my skateboarding journey, then I hope that you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next week.